That's where that's from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for those who joined the replay. So, I'm not gonna be too long on here because I got so much to do, but, I was going to make this my last $10 day for readings, and, well, nobody signed up. So that's all good. It's all good. Might come back on later on this evening. But really, I wanted to come in to talk to you today about truth and speaking the truth. If you want to join me tomorrow evening for my predictions for 2024, and it's not so much uh, coming in with a lot of doom and gloom, it's about the change and transformations that 2024 is going to bring for us in ways that we are not expecting or can't even perceive. There's some really major transits that are coming up, and I know there's been some really major transits in the last since 2020. But I feel 2024 is going to be a year that is going to be, I'm going to say, like the kicker, the year that people are going to remember, kind of like 2012. And, so years that really stick out. And looking at the power that, oh, the dog just, anyways, I will clean up the dog stuff in a minute. The transformation and changes that are going to happen for this year. We're going to find it a little bit confusing, but I hope people join me for tomorrow evening. And because it's going to bring forth, I think a leg up, a huge one on the transformations that are going to come in. Yesterday, one of the astrologers that I follow, she posted something which was really interesting yesterday on her social media, and she didn't think anything about it. And it was it was about marketing and how marketing works on social media. What she just did her thing. She just did it now. So, sorry guys. And what that marketing is. So, I'm just going to try and bring it up here. So yesterday, after she posted about the clouds and marketing and the narcissist of the cloud and marketing, she decided to post on her private community, thinking no one would see it or little visibility, but she ended up getting a marketing lead from Meta. She's not sure how she got on her page, but she's from Meta, so she probably can get on the page without even trying, right? So, and she didn't realize that the person was from Meta. And at first thought she was just a student or a follower, but turns out she's not a student and not a follower. So she wasn't sure how she got on the page, but she could not clearly state a way of marketing that does not align with the principles of the unconscious and the kind of honestly gaslighted her in the process, and was totally open to respectful conversation and learning something new. But she said she would not discuss with me because I have a different belief system than her. And it was very odd, because why come on my page to say that I'm wrong, but then not have anything to say to clarify that? And that's, when she shared that, I found that very interesting. It's like people will come onto your page or come and find you and say things and then don't want to clarify what they're saying and then bugger off somewhere. And for her, it was just mine, just really baffled her. And she's such a sensitive little one. She's a Pisces. Uh, really, just couldn't, why was this Meta marketing person somehow saw keywords on her page to even come and comment, and was also talking to her about seeing truth and seeing through illusions in general. And then and then all of a sudden she got a sign. A beautiful hawk showed up on her back deck, and they got some really beautiful pictures and everything else. But every time she comes out and she speaks the truth, somehow find a new expansive truth and vision in her life, something happens. She gets a sign. And I get that. When you're coming out and wanting to state truth, sometimes it can be very difficult because people don't want to hear what you say. And what I find very interesting is that I'm 60 years old and I've been around a bit, not around as some, but I'm always been a truther. Like my house, my Scorpio's in the fifth house. It's Leo, so I have to say, I have big hair. I have to speak out, and I'm a Scorpio, so it comes into that. I really want to state truth. I really want to speak to people. I want to tell them things. Sometimes I don't realize the depth of things that I take people in because to me it's just normal. It's just the way I'm made up and the world that I'm in and the people that I talk to. It's just a normalcy and wanting to bring that normalcy, and talk to people. But when you talk to people and then they don't even realize things, they don't even comprehend what is going on. And one of the biggest things is, because 2024 is such a big year. Like I'm not joking. You thought 2020 was radical. 2024 is bringing in such a diverseness and consciousness and expansion in ways that are so crazy, like totally crazy and mind-boggling. That's why, I encourage you. I mean, I have to charge $30 because I have bills coming out my yin yang right now, and I have to try and keep myself afloat and continue bringing people information and truth, and trying to do that on not even a shoestring budget. You know, um, that's the thing, trying to do that, not to try and make myself, but I'm just trying to explain things to people and doing these predictions. If you're wanting to join me, definitely. The recording is only going to be, and I'm telling people, limited time. Like you'll have the recording to listen to, you can take your notes, everything from it. But then once it's gone, it's gone. I don't want to keep it up for very long. There's reasons my guides told me not to do that, right? I'd like to come. Can I pay on Yes, definitely. Oh, definitely, Lexi. That's not an issue. No. See, if people want to come and pay me later, I get that. I understand that. So I'm okay with that. I understand, right? That's why I do payment plans for people and work on your budget. That's part of what I do. But just with what is coming forth, and I mean, I've been doing notes all day and I'll be up tonight doing notes still on things that are going to be coming forth on the economy, on spirituality, on expansion and what that expansion means. And I have been giving so much signs that this is what I need to be doing, right, from people talking to me to I doing a reading just a few days ago. And like I don't divulge what, but just letting her know, letting her and her husband know that what, I think it'll be a very good thing that you guys have money on hand and make sure that you have a little you know cash on hand. I mean, I keep cash, but then it goes because something happens. Or, we like this week, okay, just before Christmas, my husband went into a store and it was co-op. I think it was co-op. And their machines were glitchy. And so the guy said, you know what? The one that the co-op little place that he went into, they said, well, we can only take cash right now because we can't guarantee that the debit card's going through. Luckily, my husband had cash on him. He goes, "Oh shit. Hey, yeah, no problem. I'll pay in cash." Right? So we have to, stock up on our cash again. But these are the kinds of things. And I was, trying to explain to her, and the look on her face, and it was just like, haven't you it just they don't get it. They don't get it. And that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear. Observing the lineup to the Nike store in cross irons, I was just like, what the fuck? They don't get it. They don't get it. They're going to realize that that stuff is worthless in so many ways, and the things that people think are going to be of value are just like, oh my God, they're not getting it. There's going to be such a split within the consciousness of people who want to believe and who really want to expand, and it's going to be it's phenomenal, but there's going to be work to it. And there's going to be ones who are going to come out and you think are very strong within the community in the spirituality, and so-called truth sayers are like, what the fuck are they? Like it's like I see that their tongue is cut, as my father would say, a forked tongue. They look like they're telling the truth. They look like they really want to help people, but do they really? Do they really? So it's where you're going to find that there's going to be a lot out there that aren't the truth sayers, and that's going to be very difficult for people, right? And that's going to be very difficult for, how things are going to evolve. That's why I am doing the predictions, and I have it at $30. There are people out there that are doing predictions out there for free, and that they're putting out there, and I've listened to some of them, and some of them are, they're great. But they're not going into the depth and the transits that I want to go into. And it's the transits. Now, if you don't believe in astrology, do you remember Fukushima in 2010? When Uranus when Uranus entered Aries, boom, that was Fukushima. And it was funny because when that happened, I was working at Community Natural Foods, and of course, all the warnings were coming up about tsunamis hitting California and Vancouver Island, and people were freaking out, and people were getting and stocking up. Oh, I can't find it right now. Did my son take it? Anyways, my thyroid stuff. Anyways, we're stocking up on it like crazy. And so, anyways, and we ordered loads of it because people were so afraid of the radiation and the radiation fallout from Fukushima. On how, and that's the thing, is like with Uranus, you just don't know. But there was a configuration above, and I remember in the astrology group I was in, they were talking about the configuration over Japan at that time, and with Uranus entering Aries, that there's going to be some kind of crazy event that would happen, and it has to do with uranium and plutonium, right? Because of Pluto and the connections with Pluto. So we have, connections, like Uranus is going to meet with Jupiter this year at the end of Taurus. And then it just, Neptune's coming to the very end of Pisces. And of course, we have Pluto ingressing into Aquarius. So the changes that are going to be coming in are going to be totally radical. It's going to be an age. It's going to be a time within history people are going to remember. And it's, the weirdness and the events where I feel like I want to be at the front of the roller coaster. I don't want to be in the middle. I want to be a part of that ride. Right? I want to be a part of it and the growth that it's going to bring. This is, we've been seeing crazy things like those Mandela effects. The one lady who everybody, oh, you're crazy. Her doctor thought she was crazy and everything else about the Fruit of the Loom. And I don't know if she's a hoarder or what, but she found an old Fruit of the Loom t-shirt with Fruit of the Loom, cornucopia on it. And Fruit of the Loom brought out all of the all the timelines of their different logo, right? Because a lot of corporations, they change their logo. And they didn't show the cornucopia. I remember the cornucopia logo when I was a kid. But the thing is that nobody I knew really wore Fruit of the Loom. Maybe your dad did, but Like anybody you dated didn't wear any Fruit of the Loom, that's for sure. It was usually Calvin Klein or something a little bit, you know, guy going out with a guy, one night stand, he pulls it down. He's like, "Oh, you got Fruit of the Loom?" Like, "Fuck you, I'm gone." you know? But the Fruit of the Loom, with the cornucopia, she found it. She found it. Now she's doing something kind of crazy where she's going to be making things with that logo. And the Fruit of the Loom says they didn't do the logo, but if they take her to court, she has a case, right? So that's quite interesting. So either she's going to make a shit ton of money off of it or what. But what was her name? I think I wrote it down. She's on TikTok. I don't know if it's time lifted, but it's almost where these Mandela effects, that these companies or corporations that are wanting to erase things from the history book, erase things from them. There was an interview with Jordan Peterson and a woman from World War II, and she talks about when Auschwitz was released. She goes, "Those pictures are false. Those pictures were staged. That wasn't it." She goes, "Because snow was up, up to their waist." She goes, "There was so much snow when that happened." She says, not saying that they didn't release them and that didn't happen, but how history has put things into the books to make it look a different way than what we perceive it to be. And this is where 2024, there's just all of this coming forward. And you're going to have people that are going to stand there and they're going to believe, and understand, okay, yeah, there's been some crazy bullshit. And others that are just like wanting to hide away. They don't want to believe. They want to go stand in the Nike line and wait for that t-shirt that probably isn't there because you're at the back of the line and it's outside the mall and it's all around the corner, right? So this is the where we're at. We also have crazy things that are going to be happening next year, the Paris Olympics, which is very, very interesting, and the transits that are going to be happening around the Paris Olympics. We also have, you know, the Epstein thing. I think I'm not. That's just another bullshit propaganda. That's not the story. It's the story for Epstein is his ranch in Mexico, and that's going to be another thing that's going to come forward. Um, other things, of course, the economy and the weirdness that's going to be coming in with money and what that looks like. And that's very much the same as, what was happening in 1788 with the Constitutional um, Congress that was meeting and the changes that were happening in 1788. I mean, the Paris things that Paris had their Congress dissolved and a new Congress was starting to be formed. We have people that were fighting against the Royal Army in Paris, so the Paris Revolution. So a lot of these changes in transits and awakening. We are on this new rocket that's catapulting us to a place that is beautiful, transformational, and there's going to be many who are going to have difficulties with it. Yes, definitely, and I'll get into that tomorrow evening as well. So this what's coming in, and especially what's coming in for this weekend, and as the moon is waning and as we're entering back into sort of the darkness of the moon, and the moon is moving. This is where I feel it's really important for us to really start to do our reflections, to do what it is that we need to look at, and what that proposal is for each and every one of us. I feel like this is where you want to have a front row seat with everything. It's going to be very important, and the rarity is going to continue for 2024, and what that looks like. And the human consciousness is more connected and hardwired in ways that people really, don't understand. The things with AI and the things with the computers are It's going to be phenomenal of some of the things that are going to come forward, but also understanding how to use them and utilize them is going to be important as we go forward. A lot of times people are like, I don't know. How many times I come across people like, don't know how to use a computer. How the fuck don't you know how to use a computer? It's 2024. It's been around since 1997. I'm fucking 60. If you don't know how to use your computer, like, it's time to wake up. It's time not to be scared of it. It's time to embrace it and learn how to use it, right? Because it is going to be becoming a tool. It is a tool that needs to be utilized, right? And that's the whole thing. It's so many people are like, well, but that's the block. That's the block. That's the block of not wanting to learn, not wanting to expand, wanting to keep yourself in that way. And I get it. I do the same thing. I just, looking at my YouTube where I could probably be doing a lot better. I just did a bunch of updates on my website, and my website couldn't hold the updates, so it crashed. So my website's fucked. So fine. Now I got to learn how to redo my website. That's how I look at it. Yeah, it crashed, it went, whatever. I got to learn how to redo it and learn how to make sure that it's stronger and more viable, right? Yeah, I started computer in grade 7, 1984. Yeah. Yeah, computers were in schools. Mac was the first ones to be in schools. I remember them being placed into schools, and a good friend of mine was really learning how to utilize the Mac computer. And then they went to the PC because the PC was more rapidly accepted, especially within businesses because it was easier. And that was with Microsoft. And that's because he did a deal and he fucked jobs over. And stole his ideas. Gotta love Bill Gates. But this is learning and looking at those obstacles of why you're scared to learn these things, why you're scared to expand. And that's really going to be, and that's, part where, even with this weekend and the transits and Jupiter going forward, right? Jupiter going forward this weekend is, in Taurus. It's about, okay, what do we need to learn? What do we need to expand? Mercury's going to be going forward on the 1st of January. So it's like, what have we connected with and what have we learned in the last 3 weeks? What are those downloads? And some of those downloads for me have been, okay, I have to really, you know what? Things are going to change where I may not be on here every day because I want to bring you better quality. So I might be videotaping it and learning how to videotape and edit and do that kind of stuff, which sounds very, 2000, but learning the new techniques that are out there to upload it, to create new content, right? Loads of ideas have been coming in for me. And so it's like, okay, how am I going to utilize it? I really have to set forth a plan and construct a plan with this all. And that's the whole thing. It's like, it's constructing a new plan. How are you going to construct it? And how are you wanting to learn? Like, how are you wanting to learn something new to expand your consciousness, right? And not be afraid of it. Not be afraid of it. And that's, where there was and I was talking to Steve about this was it? Well, a couple things has to do with Obama. One, when he was having a debate with before he was elected, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was having this debate and he was talking about gas prices back then. And this was back, before just as he was going in for the election. So he's talking about gas prices and how gas prices are, too high and this cost of living is too high. Romney. That's who it was. So he was talking about this. 10, 20 years later, what's changed? What has been implemented? Nothing. So that's the other part of what's coming forward. It's like if you have been wanting to implement things, let's say since 2008 when Pluto came into Capricorn, and you haven't done it, this is like, okay, wake up. Time to do it. Time to make those changes. Time to bring in that construction, right? I'm not a fan of Saturn and Capricorn. And Saturn has been in Capricorn, and then it went into Aquarius. Now it's in Pisces. That Saturn Capricorn energy was a wake up call, was a call to say, what are the constructions within your home that you have that you don't like, that you need to make changes with? And one of them could be learning how to use the computer besides turning it on and going on Facebook and Instagram. How can you utilize it in a more in-depth way? I was just, listening to some people talking about the AI and doing art and stuff. And this one guy was showing the different art that he was doing, and he says it's like, he goes, it's like scrying. That's what he called it, scrying. And I went, holy shit. Because scrying can be used, with a crystal ball, with water, with different implements, mirrors, right? And here you're telling it, you're consciously coming in and you're consciously telling AI certain things, and the images that are coming forward are pretty radical, right? And pretty crazy. And one girl was talking about when she did it, because she had a past life regression and she remembers spaceships and stuff within it, and how she described the spaceships within it. And she's never seen the same thing before with people, who drew spaceship. When she did the AI thing, it came out exactly the way that she saw it. Pretty fucked up. So it's learning these, and some of it's scary. It's scary because people are like, ooh, it's going to take over my mind. Well, that's part of the human consciousness. That's part of the change and the connections that are going to be coming in and changing. And how are you wanting to expand with that? And that's part of the new world, the new earth. It's part of that expansion, that consciousness, that connection, and finding and knowing that we need that connection, that human connection, that community. Pretty wild. So, on that note, if you have not signed up to join me for tomorrow evening, please do. Please do. Please let me know. I want to inform as many people as I can. I want to get out there. I want people to know the truth. I want people to understand the truth. But some things I cannot do on social media. And just like what happened to my poor girlfriend, who's an astrologer, Diana, I think her name is. Anyways, and then all of a sudden this person just comes in and now she's finding that her algorithm is fucked up. Where it's just, yeah, craziness. So things that I have in mind that I want to start doing for 2024, and I want to start laying down. Yeah, I want to start creating something different in new ways and getting more information out and using some of the old witchy ways as well, and bringing that forth to each and every one of us. The one thing that I keep on getting is and which I'm going to do today, because I have these little vials. But if you have little vials and stuff like that with a little that you can put a little cork in, you can get them at the dollar store. Putting salt in corners, like salt at my doorway. I really want to put a little one there, and put them in different areas in my house. I usually do saging and salting, but I want to put little vials there. So that's what they're showing me, is to put little vials there and do it before the new year. So I'm going to be doing that, and probably going to videotape it and talk to people about that. Inspiration. Allow for the inspiration to come. Listen to the inspiration. Work with an inspiration. Moodle it over. Investigate about it. Find out more information about it. And as you do that, comes the Page of Cups. Comes the nuances, comes the intuition, comes the newness that comes in. So there's a lot of new and enterprising energies that are coming in, from passion to intuition to the emotions. So allowing yourself to explore those and explore why you have a hesitancy to maybe not want to learn. What's that fear, right? And that, and I get it, because I get that real anxiety, right? and stuff like that. So I have those white crystal selenite. Yeah, no, selenite's one thing. This is salt. Salt. I just keep on getting salt. Selenite's nice. It's great. Um, but I just get like little tiny salt vials and putting them at my door and adding and putting them there. So selenite, yeah, it works. It's nice, but salt gives it that punch. That so giving it so having that salt and bringing that into a balance. So there is going to be a lot of juggling. So we're going to be doing a lot of juggling today, trying to figure things out, trying to figure how to do things. I understand, as Lexi was saying about the anxiety about the groceries and things like that. I get it. I'm with you. You know, where I had an idea of what my Advent thing would do and what it did are two different things, but that's fine. It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to continue because I got to create this foundation and so I got to go full steam ahead so that it's going to be viable and bring in that viability with it all. And so learning the tricks and the trades of the marketing and all that kind of bullshit. So it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve and it's a balance. And sometimes it feels out to lunch. The two of pentacles is like, oh, how am I doing this? But then you got that passion and inspiration that keeps coming in. You're trying to balance it with your muggle world because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to you. And that's the important piece. So trust in your guides, trust in your angels. They will give you signs. They will give you signs in some way, whether it's a song on the radio to a smell, and that's the other thing we're going to come into is about your five senses and how the enhancement to those five senses are going to change for the new year. So into the new year as we go through. So sending you guys out so much love. I got to eat my breakfast and then Steve and he wants to go for his walk. So have a fabulous day, everybody. Definitely please rewatch and may the Lord and Lady watch over you in all that you say and all that you be and all you do. Please join me tomorrow evening, and if you can't pay me right now, let me know. Say, I don't get paid till next Friday, but I really want to join you, Mama. Then join me then. Okay. Let me know. I don't know till I know. God bless. Bye-bye. See you all.